What if I told you that some countries, against all odds, are leaving poverty behind faster than anyone else in the world? At a time when many nations are stagnating or even regressing, others are making huge leaps forward, proving that real change is possible. Welcome to Global Finance 360, where today we'll explore the 10 countries that are escaping poverty the fastest in 2025. We begin in Rwanda, a country that just 30 years ago was synonymous with conflict, destruction, and despair. But what has happened since then feels almost like a story of redemption. Today, Rwanda is one of the safest and most organized nations in Africa, with impressive advancements in health, education, and digitalization. Thanks to a strategic focus on technology, sustainability, and transparency, the country has significantly reduced extreme poverty. In Kigali, the capital, there's a surprising sense of modernity: clean streets, rural internet access, tech-based agriculture, and a growing middle class. What was once a devastated land is now an inspiration for the entire continent. Now we head to Vietnam, a nation that in recent years has gone from being a mainly agricultural economy to an emerging industrial powerhouse. Over the last decade, Vietnam's economy has grown by more than 6% annually. But beyond the numbers, the transformation is deeply human. Millions of people who once lived in poor rural areas now have access to healthcare, education, and jobs in thriving cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh. Vietnam has been one of the major beneficiaries of supply chain relocation in Asia, especially in electronics, textiles, and light manufacturing. But perhaps most remarkable is its commitment to inclusion. Government programs to reduce inequality, investments in digital education, and widespread access to microloans have helped thousands of families lift themselves out of poverty. Vietnam is living proof that even war-torn countries can be reborn with the right vision. Next is Bangladesh, a country that for decades was seen as a symbol of natural disaster and economic crisis. But today, that perception has radically changed. Bangladesh has managed to reduce its extreme poverty rate from 44% to 18% in the last 20 years. How? By betting on the textile industry and basic education. Millions of people work in garment factories that export around the globe, providing stable income for their families and allowing them to send their children to school. At the same time, the country has invested in community healthcare, sanitation, electricity access, and social safety nets. Local cooperatives and digital microfinance platforms have democratized credit, enabling small entrepreneurs to start businesses even in remote rural areas. Villages once forgotten are now connected, organized, and looking to the future with hope. Heading west, we arrive in Ethiopia, another striking example of how a country can reinvent itself. Despite ongoing political challenges, Ethiopia has made notable progress over the past decade. It has become a rising hub for textile production in Africa, attracting foreign investment through industrial parks, low energy costs, and tax incentives. At the same time, the country has brought electricity to more than 60 million people in rural areas, built thousands of kilometers of roads, and doubled its primary school coverage. The government has pushed reforms to modernize farming, improve food security, and increase the added value of exports. Poverty is still present, but each year, millions of Ethiopians are seeing their lives improve and gaining access to a more diverse and resilient economy. Next up is Cambodia, a land of contrasts, ancient history, and a future full of possibility. Although it still faces significant challenges, Cambodia has seen one of the fastest drops in extreme poverty in Southeast Asia. Thanks to tourism, intensive agriculture, and a thriving garment industry, the country has generated jobs and income for millions of families. Economic growth has been accompanied by investments in infrastructure, basic education, and clean water access. The government has also implemented conditional cash transfer programs and subsidies to ensure no one is left behind. In cities like Phnom Penh, younger generations are studying digital careers, opening small businesses, and dreaming of rewriting their country's story. Cambodia shows us that even with limited resources, progress is possible when human development is prioritized. Taking spot number 5 is India, a vast, diverse, and ever-evolving nation. While hundreds of millions of people still face vulnerability, the speed at which India has lifted people out of poverty in recent years is truly astonishing. How did it happen? Through a powerful combination of technological growth, mass digitalization, and the expansion of the welfare state. They have a program which provides each citizen with a unique biometric ID. It has enabled the government to deliver subsidies and support directly to the poorest households, reducing corruption and improving efficiency. Meanwhile, The digital entrepreneurship boom has created millions of jobs in small towns and rural areas that were once disconnected from the mainstream economy. With access to online education, tech training, and mobile financial services, many communities are taking a leap forward. India still faces immense challenges, but it's boldly walking into a new era, and its fight against poverty is already leaving a significant mark. At number 4, we find Uzbekistan, a country rarely featured in global headlines, yet undergoing a deep and quiet transformation. After decades of economic isolation, Uzbekistan has embarked on a gradual economic opening that's had a major impact on poverty reduction. Inefficient subsidies have been cut, key sectors liberalized, and support for small and medium-sized enterprises has been expanded. But perhaps the most notable progress lies in technical education, rural digitalization, and financial inclusion. Millions of Uzbeks who were previously left out of the formal banking system now have access to accounts, credit, and digital tools that connect them to a more dynamic economy. The reforms haven't been easy or perfect, but they're yielding visible results, especially in rural regions where poverty is falling rapidly. Uzbekistan is a reminder that some of the most meaningful change happens quietly, out of the spotlight, but deeply transformative. In spot number 3 is Nepal, a country often associated with mountains and spirituality, but now writing a new story grounded in progress and opportunity. After years of political instability and devastating natural disasters, Nepal has achieved what once seemed impossible, reducing extreme poverty below 15%. How? Through labor migration, remittances, and a growing network of rural entrepreneurship. Millions of Nepalis work abroad and send money home, which has stimulated local economies. On top of that, there's strong growth in ecotourism, organic farming, and access to renewable energy. More and more young people in rural areas are gaining access to technical training and the internet, allowing them to participate in the digital economy. In regions once considered isolated, businesses, cooperatives, and community projects are now thriving. Nepal is proving that even a landlocked nation facing geographic and economic constraints can open itself to the world and build a more just future. At number 2 is Ghana, one of West Africa's most promising economies. Unlike other countries that rely heavily on a single resource, Ghana has been diversifying its economy, promoting modern agriculture, responsible mining, local fintech startups, and universal access to basic education. The country has led the way in digital governance and direct cash transfers to vulnerable households. Today, mobile platforms allow millions of people to get paid, sell, buy, and even save money straight from their phones. On top of that, infrastructure investment in roads, electricity networks, and ports has reduced logistics costs and connected previously forgotten regions. The result is a more integrated, productive country with a growing middle class. Ghana isn't perfect, but it's moving forward with pride and determination toward an inclusive development model that's improving millions of lives. And finally, we close this ranking at number 1 with Botswana, often referred to as Africa's silent miracle. Back in the 1960s, Botswana was one of the poorest nations in the world, but it has since shown that economic growth can go hand in hand with strong institutions, democracy, and social investment. Through careful management of its natural resources, especially diamonds, Botswana has spent decades investing in health, education, infrastructure, and economic diversification. Today, it boasts one of the most robust healthcare systems in Africa, a public education system showing real results, and a poverty rate that is falling rapidly. The country is now positioning itself as a regional hub for innovation, attracting investment in clean energy, financial services, and technology. What makes Botswana truly exceptional is not just its progress, but how it achieved it, with transparency, long-term planning, and a strong commitment to collective well-being, a model that deserves global recognition. These stories aren't just about numbers, they're about people. Every statistic represents real families, children with food on the table, students in classrooms, communities with clean water, and workers who finally feel part of their country's future. And if there's one thing this ranking makes clear, it's that a fairer future is possible through inclusive policies, education, innovation, and international cooperation. If you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe to Global Finance 360 and hit the notification bell to keep exploring the major changes reshaping our world. See you in the next video.